Okay, hello, keep it skating. It is Monday, July 15th, 2019. This is the No One's Listening Show, episode 156. I'm your host, Rafa. It is hot in July, and I'm here with the stellar super panel. To my left is Manny.
Hey, Rafa, how are you? How everybody? Good to be back. It's summertime blues here. No news.
Nothing's going on. To his left is Lenny.
Hey, guys. Long time no be here. And I miss you guys. But there is news.
Yeah, there's a bunch going on.
There's a bunch of news.
Well, let's start how we always start. It's called Weekend Talk, or really what I want to hear about is what'd you guys do 4th of July? You guys do anything cool?
I'll start because it was epic for me. I had a rat reunion with all my elementary school friends. I haven't seen Mike Smith for like 30-something years, and he was here along with all my other little ratonas. Heather Henderson and Christina Conte and Chris Johnny, which is her birthday. Happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday.
And it was a blast. It was epic. And that was on the heels of my trip to Europe. So I was jet lagged and super tired, but I rallied and I had a great time.
Did you go to the reunion?
I went to the reunion too.
How was that?
It was. You didn't go?
No, I was
swear
too tired.
I thought I saw you there.
I was too tired for the 4th.
Were you really?
It's funny because the 30-year-old guy was too tired to attend a party with a bunch of 65-year-olds. So.
That's right. That's right. We kept going.
The 4th was rough, man. We woke up early, started real early, and went till late, you know? It didn't stop. Did the parade, did the boat all day after that, then did a couple pit stops, then made it to the beach at night.
Fireworks.
And we were on the beach till like 1 a.m. or something like that. Yeah.
That is a long day for you.
And then the next day it was like, I don't really want to go to that. You know, I was like, whatever.
Right.
But what about you, Manny? What did you do the 4th?
No, well, I thought this was weekend talk, so I was going to tell you about this weekend.
Oh, but tell me about the 4th.
Well, the 4th was everything that Lenny said and more.
That's right.
It was really nice to see a lot of old friends there, old faces. You know, you walk down Crandon Boulevard on the 4th of July, and it's almost like you're walking through a ghost town, you know, and ghost town in the sense of you see people and faces, and you're like, that's, you know, I was riding my bike. I was coming in, and one time I was riding my bike in, and I see this guy, and I could tell he's a key rat, you know, from back in the day.
Oh, he told me the story, by the way.
Yeah, and I just, as I'm going by him, walking by him, I was on my bike, I'm like, hey man, welcome home, buddy. Key rat. And he turns around. I didn't even make eye contact with him. I just kept going. He turned around. He was like, oh, you talking to me? And, 20 minutes later, I ran into him. It was Nick Pullman.
He was Nick Pullman. He was so happy to hear that. He's like, oh, I miss you guys. It was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun seeing everyone.
So the actual parade, I feel like had less attendance and less things, and it was much better for it. I feel it was like the whole parade committee could feel it. It was like there was just less people.
Give us some quantify it. How many floats do you usually have? How many did you have this time? Or
so
are we talking about people attending?
We had about 40 when you factor in the no-shows, and last year we had about 60. But that was because we had a lot of politicians last year too, which are boring anyway.
Oh yeah.
You know? But you could just feel it. I don't know. You just felt it on the street.
It was
there just
vibe.
wasn't as much traffic. There just wasn't as much, you know, like all the messes that we usually have of people trying to come into the street and stuff like that where they're not supposed to go. We didn't have that because there just wasn't, there wasn't as many people. There just wasn't as many people on the island. It seemed like.
We were by the bathrooms. It was packed.
Yeah.
It was packed, and we had a blast. Everyone was getting their drink on and looking at the parade and
the water.
Yeah, and the everything. The water guns and the kids playing. And
I thought the water factor was just perfect. It was, no balloons, which was nice to see, or there were some, but mostly none. Mm-hmm. And people just brought the super soakers, which feel good.
It was wonderful.
And, I'm sorry, I have to call out somebody that was in our group, in our booth there or whatever, in our tent. We set up about 5 tents there by the bathrooms. And she brought 2 huge, coolers, 50-gallon coolers of ice water.
Freezing.
And so she's going in there. When I say she, I mean Mariana Hardy. That's what I mean.
That's it. Way to call her out, Manny.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't want to use too many pronouns.
Awesome.
Yes.
So she was just soaking people, in the booth, under the tent, us.
Yes.
And people are like, dude, look, I got my phone in my pocket, man.
All the phones are waterproof now, so
won't mention that, but it was still, I don't want to get wet. I'll let you know if I want to get wet.
Right.
So she kept doing it.
Oh.
And so I went up to Court Vern and I said, Court, man, we got to put an end to this.
Oh, hilarious.
So I said,
You're
listen.
such a party
and
pooper.
we look at one of those 50-gallon coolers that she had.
Oh, no.
Of ice water. And I said, look, we're going to have to pour that on her. And Court's like, yeah, man, we should. I go, okay, listen, when we find the perfect situation, the code word's going to be chop suey. If you hear chop suey at any moment out here, it's going to be like, time to grab the cooler, 2-man job, because we don't want to hurt her.
Yeah, right,
we don't want to
course.
drop the whole thing on her back.
Oh, hilarious.
So all of a sudden, Mike Davey walks down the street, and Mariana super soaks him from behind the fence. And then he comes over to the fence, and they start talking, the two of them. I'm like, chop suey!
Oh, man.
So Court and I grabbed it, and we dumped it over Mariana. We got Mike a little bit.
And I was going to say, did you get the mayor?
we probably got him a little. He got a little residual, but mostly Mariana got about 98% of it.
Oh, how funny.
She was upset.
Really?
Yeah.
No, she wasn't.
No way.
She was upset that we wasted all her good water.
There you go.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, hey, who won the best float or whatever?
Okay, so best overall was... Oh, God. Okay, I'll tell you who best homemade was the Biscayne Nature Center.
I thought theirs was great. Speaking of what you were talking about earlier, Manny, about sculptures made of trash.
They had a giant trash sculpture of... it was a big sea turtle made of trash picked up from the beach.
It was awesome.
Which was awesome, and they won the $1,500. Best bike or golf cart was Federico Padovan with
he wins every year.
Thing.
He goes all out.
Yeah.
Congratulations again.
So those are the most important ones, but most patriotic was also Federico Padovan.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
was that cash money for those?
Yeah.
Shit, I'm going to do that next year.
Best overall was... I always forget best overall because I always find it to be not that...
exciting?
Since they don't do it themselves, I don't consider it that best, But let me think.
You can't remember the best overall?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not really the best overall. The best overall is the best homemade one. Is the best homemade one.
What about the Calusa Club noise wagon? I thought that was awful.
It was awful.
It was, right? It was crash and burn all the way. I thought you were on the right path. If you guys would have pretended to be playing like really good music, it would have been fun.
I agree.
You could have come out and worked the crowd, played the sax solos on the sideline.
So people said to do that, but I didn't think that was funny. I didn't think that idea was very funny. What I think really screwed up the execution was that we had too many kids on there like shooting water, and like nobody took their seats to look like a proper band, which would have been nice. But one thing we did do, I don't know if you guys caught it, like when we were up on the stand, on the review stand, we told everybody, we told the DJ to cut the music, we told everybody to shut up, and we pretended to do a proper thing.
You mean at the beginning?
No,
right
where
they
with
stop
Austin.
at the bandstand.
Oh, where you stopped?
Where the judges are.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
we weren't there.
Yeah, I know. So they shut off all the music, and everybody stopped. Everybody was quiet. We're like, we're going to play this amazing song right now. And we're like, 1, 2, 3. And then it was just like, clank, 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 clank. And it was just...
It's funny once.
It was funny in that moment, yes.
And then for the rest of the...
Is that the Chowder Chompers one?
Yeah, the Chowder Chompers.
Oh, jeez. They used to be real good, actually, the Chowder Chompers.
Lenny, you're not old enough to remember those.
I do remember the Chowder Chompers.
Best overall was the Boaters Grill.
Oh, I missed it.
There you go. It was the 20th anniversary of the Boaters Grill, and they had a float out there.
I saw that.
Big
That was
sign
nice.
and
That looked
stuff.
homemade.
Yeah, it was somewhat homemade, yeah.
It was
My
made.
favorite,
It was made.
favorite part of the parade is the Junkanoo. The end. Me and I have the best picture of like all of us dancing behind the Junkanoo with our drinks in hand, and then we walk at least 2 blocks, half a block, I don't know, down the street, and then we dancing and sweating our butts off, and I love it.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
So last year we put the Junkanies a little bit ahead because they had screwed us so many times coming with too few people and stuff
they
like
have to be at the end always.
And everybody thought it was the end of the parade, so they all came out onto the street thinking it was the end, and then it wasn't. And so we learned our lesson. And
you wait for the Junkanoo.
Overall,
put them all in the back.
Kind of to tie it all up, man. With the Key Rat reunion that weekend, the 60th parade, everyone was happy.
Yeah, they're coming back.
Everyone that came back was super happy. It wasn't just the party at the beach club. It was hanging out at Silver Sands. It was cruising around the Key. It was all kinds of stuff. Getting out to Stiltsville, kayaking, paddleboarding. People were out there doing stuff. So
and by the way,
overall...
they're all coming back next year.
Really?
They've already reserved rooms at the Silver Sands.
I got to get my room at the Sands.
They're so excited. I'm not kidding. We need to make it every year. They love it. It's fun. It's like the best time of year to be here.
Did you do anything else? Did anybody? I want to hear if you guys partied during the day. After that, would you guys go home?
I went. Well, Manny's a wuss. He took a nap. He's like, I'm gonna go take a nap. Tom and I trudged through, even with jet lag, and we made it all the way to the fireworks. And then I burned and crashed, and I went home, and then I slept a whole day, and then I went out again the next day.
Nice.
I did not leave my house the next day.
Yeah, I think that's what I did, but I didn't even make it.
Or maybe it was the day after anyway, it was like one Saturday, because the thing was Friday, right? The reunion?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Saturday I didn't leave my house. I didn't even see daylight. Anyway, it was good times. Thank you, Rafa, and everyone who's done the 4th of July parade. You guys are awesome. Thank you for your time and effort, because it really is a lot of work.
They were on point this year, the committee. Okay. Moving on, you want to talk anything else about your weekend there?
Nah, that's all right.
That's all right? Okay. Let me see. I think I had some stuff written down. Okay.
What's next?
With Griffey, and then 4th of July. All right. Yeah, saw Griff this weekend. He's out there. Hey, Griff. All right. Let's move on to what you're listening to real quick.
I'll go first since we're in the 4th of July. Great line, leaving Texas, 4th day of July. Bum, bum. I've recommended this song before, but this is a nice fast version of Jack Straw. It's I think it's like March 1990 from Long Island. So I'll send that to you somewhere, Rafa. I don't know if you post these songs or not, but if you have a chance to listen to this fast version of Jack Straw, Grateful Dead.
We have we're coming out with a CD with all these great songs that we always say. Just kidding.
What do you got, Lenny?
Well, mine is, since I'm going to Bimini on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
And last year was the first time going there since the Complete Angler burnt down. But as a kid,
that was like 20 years ago.
I know. And then now I'm going again now. But, I miss the Complete Angler. It was a blast. The Calypsonians used to play there all the time. And there was a song called Once Is Not Enough. So my song is the Calypsonians, Once Is Not Enough.
It's not the classic Bimini song, is it? The one leaving Bimini?
No, I don't think. Put that up on the mic.
Hold on. Shit, I'm not very good. I'm technically...
Oh, nice. Dig it.
Yeah.
Anyway, good times, people.
The Complete Angler. One time I saw some guy get duct taped to the roof of a golf cart at the Complete Angler. He was like the mate he was like the low mate on this big yacht that came in. And so his friends duct taped him to the roof of the golf cart.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
where are you staying over there?
Complete Angler.
We're staying on a house where that new North Bimini.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but
South Bimini.
No, it's North Bimini, where the resort is, where Bimini Bay, the whole resort is. We're not staying in Alice-town in that area.
Gotcha.
It's like where the casino is, near the Hilton, but we're staying in a house on the water.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks to my friend Beth Alzola. Thank you, Beth.
Very cool. All right, I am Mac DeMarco. I don't know if you guys heard him before, but he came out with an album 2 months ago. It's called Here Comes the Cowboy. Nobody liked it, but I liked it a lot. And there's a song on it called Choo Choo, which is a good introduction to it. There's better songs, but this one is really lighthearted, so it's called Choo Choo. It's Mac DeMarco, and it goes like this.
Take a ride with me.
That's my kind of music because it's funk.
It's a funk. The whole album's not like that, but that song is. It's right in the middle, and it's just a nice little change up.
Love it.
So check that out. Mac DeMarco, Choo Choo, from Here Comes the Cowboy 2019 album. And let's keep going. There's a couple things we got to talk to you about in the news you can choose to use if you'd like. Okay. Let's start with... Why don't you tell us about the whales on the beach there, Manny? Let me tell the people for a second, and then you can tell us. 2 weeks ago, some whales, or a week and a half ago, First, some crocs were
I'll
on
tell
the
you what
beach,
happened, Rafa.
but then some whales were on the beach.
It starts with the Crocs. You're right. It starts with the Crocs. A huge blew up. Everybody knows that story. It blew up in the sense of on the chats, everyone was able to go to see the Crocs, right, and on the beach.
Yep.
So on the 5th of July, which is the day after the 4th, Friday, we decided to do a beach cleanup because 10,000 people on the beach and fireworks and trash and people leaving stuff inadvertently, whatever it might be. We'll go out there in the morning and clean up. So
That's
I'm heading
great.
down there on the 5th, and I run into Christina Bracken. And Christina, she's like, hey, Manny, I need to ask you for a favor. I want you to help me with something. Christina Bracken, side note, wants to make a key cup type of thing. So everywhere you go, you bring your cup, or you can go to wherever you go and there's a cup waiting for you that's already yours.
Brilliant.
But for another story, so I was like, jump in my golf cart. Where are you going? To the beach club? I'll take you down there. So I take her down to the beach club, and then I see somebody, and they're like, hey, are you here? Oh, I see Laura Nicholson. She's like, are you here for the whale? I'm like, the whale? What are you talking about?
Right.
There's a whale beach on right in front of the Ocean Club. I was like, what? So I pull up into the beach club. I leave Chico in the golf cart at the beach club.
Right.
So like he's in the parking lot. He can't go in through the beach club.
Right.
So he's sitting in the golf cart at the beach club. I run in. I get to the end of the path of the beach club. I literally step out of my shoes. I run out to the beach, and I look to my right, and I see some commotion going on. So I run down there in front of the Ocean Club, and I see, first thing I see is some guy who's kind of on his knees, and he's got two cops standing over him. First thing you're going to see are the cops, right? So he's got two cops standing over him, and I'm thinking, oh, this is just some tweaker from, 4th of July.
From Club 11?
Yeah, no, maybe, does he have a Rolex?
Is he wearing a Rolex on the beach? Okay, great.
So I thought he's maybe some guy out there in the sunrise. I see him all the time. They've been up all night. But he's on his knees, and he's got two cops over him. Okay, whatever. But then I looked into the water, and I see a friend of mine, TJ, in his familiar yellow shirt, Mars, Marine Animal Rescue Society.
Cool.
You know TJ?
Yeah.
Our boy TJ.
Yeah.
Right. So him and Shannon are volunteers for this organization, and I'm like, dude, what's going on? He's like, can you help? And so we came across a whale, what turned out to be a dwarf sperm whale, a female adult, and they were holding her. There was 4 people holding her on their knees in the water, because if they didn't hold her, she would have just been thrashing on the shore,
right.
stuck and thrashing on the shore. So trying to kind of hold her at our knee level. We're on our knees. So they asked me if I would go in and help and hold. And so I did, of course. And I was also there with Daryl Nicholson, who was here for the Key Rat reunion. Daryl grew up on the Key. His mom, Aline, and his sister, Laura. His mom still lives here. Laura doesn't. But
great family, great guy.
Great family. He's there, and he's with his son. And so the next thing you know, we're sitting there holding this whale. And it was incredible because they started sort of counting her breaths, keeping track of her breaths. And they were waiting for the vet to show up. And Daryl at one moment comments that he could feel her heartbeat. You have to have 4 people holding her and sort of holding tight and snug is what they said, because if it's just 2 people and she thrashes or something, she can hurt herself or
you guys, yeah.
Easily break a rib or something. So we were there tight. And I look and I still see that guy on his knees over there and with the cops. And I was like, what's going on? I was like, that guy wearing handcuffs? So then whatever, we're back to the whale, and the veterinarian shows up, and they do an examination, they conferred. So whatever, it turns out that another whale was further south. A calf had beached herself at the state park. One of the volunteers from NOAA, came up the beach on the turtle cart. She went to investigate that one. She came back right away, so it was clear that something had happened. That one had died already. When the vets showed up, they spoke, and they decided that they were going to have to euthanize this whale, unfortunately.
So when you're holding the whale, is the whale trying to swim back out?
I think it was weak.
Not
probably.
at all. Totally weak, barely moving. On her back, I didn't share this picture, but I have it. I'll show you. She had a really big laceration on her back, just behind her dorsal. And I don't know whether they said that might have been kind of new,
Maybe the scraping of the sand, maybe?
No, I'll show you the picture.
Oh,
it was
okay.
a cut, like I don't know if it was a propeller or another fish or something.
How big was this whale, by the way?
She was probably like 7 to 8 feet.
Wow.
6 to 8 feet,
Cool.
250 pounds. But so then they asked us to help bring her over. They had a sleeve, like a stretcher, a sling. And so we lifted her, brought her to the shore, and then then I asked if they needed my help anymore, and they didn't. So I excused myself. I didn't want to stick around for the rest of it. Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know we had. Call me ignorant and stupid. I had no idea we had whales around here. Did you?
I've never.
I've never seen one ever.
Apparently, there's sharks in the ocean too.
Well, I've seen those.
Just like that whale in particular. Somebody said that they GTS'd it, and they couldn't even find a picture of it. That they're so hard that you don't really ever see them.
Never see them.
Although a few days later, somebody came up to me and they said, "Manny, I've been meaning to talk to you. I think I saw 3 of those same whales the day before over by Stiltsville."
Oh wow!
Yeah, and he's a waterman, a boatsman, and he saw he's like wait, those aren't dolphin. They could look like dolphin.
Right.
They're not that
Right.
about the same size, but they're black.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Well, thanks, Manny, for helping. That's really nice.
well,
How did they euthanize the whale? Do you know?
They give
Yeah,
him
I
a
do.
shot of cocktail juice.
no. First, what they do is
That's what they do.
no. First, it's more humane than that actually.
That was pretty humane.
No, they give her a sedative first.
Oh, okay.
So as I was
really?
leaving, they were teeing up the
What
sedative,
a
and it was
seed.
a big needle with a big
Oh,
squirt.
gotcha.
Yeah. So they gave her a sedative, and then they euthanized her
and they
But
and
what
they
do
did
they-
an
do they
autopsy.
with a needle. No, they didn't shoot it.
They inject something.
Yeah, so they inject. So then I'm getting ready to leave. And I go up to somebody else. I was like, "Hey, so
What's happening with the guy
what's
on
up
the
with
beach?
that guy over there?" By now, the guy that was in his handcuffs and on his knees. That was, he looked like a croqueta empanizado. He was all full of sand. I was like, this guy. That's why I thought he was out there the whole night.
That's hilarious.
So he stands up, and they're kind of walking him out of the path of the Ocean Club. Turns out that the guy was just a little too zealous in finding the whale and decided he was going to save it. And so he tried to drag her out to the ocean, and the cops showed up because someone had reported it. And they're like, look, let's wait. The cops, obviously they're in touch with the pros,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they said, stay away from her. Don't touch her. Don't try and drag her back in. Whatever you do, don't try and drag her back in.
Wow. And that's
And
what he
because
wanted to
they don't know if she's going to, suffer more out there or beat
Yeah.
herself again or just, have a harder time. And they also want to be able to see what's up. So the cops told him, hey, dude, pump the brakes.
Right.
Stop trying to put the whale down.
And he kept going.
He wouldn't do it. He kept going, and he was hell bent on saving the whale. And he didn't get arrested, from what I heard, but he was cuffed out there, and I bet he didn't have his
That is
sunscreen
hilarious.
Was this report in the police report? The blotter that you look at?
No,
Did you see
it wasn't there.
on. No, but it was in the Islander article.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, they did mention that
funny.
they let him go because they realized he was just trying to help.
Oh, well.
That
Thank you,
is
Manny.
Hilarious. I wonder who it was.
What a story.
Yeah. All right, so that's what happened with the whales. The next thing I have queued up here is this fun story because I hadn't heard about the booter in a long time.
What booter? Just kidding.
And I think most
You
key
can tell
rat-
people about the booter.
most key rats are savvy to the booter now. Everybody got caught out by the booter at some point, so nobody's getting caught anymore. But this poor soul got caught the other day, and it came out in the police report. And so this is what happens. A girl drives her golf cart to the Key Colony Plaza. Right? Am I right?
Rafa.
Yes.
Okay.
Or wait. Key Rooney instead of
Key Colony
All
Plaza.
right, well, Rafa's...
First mistake is Key Colony Plaza. Just
Yes. She leaves her golf cart there and walks off Key Colony Plaza. Someone.
Key Colony Plaza is the parking lot of the Ibis where
Yes.
there's been issues before.
Yes.
Exactly.
Where people have left the bar and said, hey, I'm Ubering home, I'm leaving my car here, and they come home the next day,
By the
and
way-
there's a boot on their car.
Yes.
And by the way, it's called Tumbos, so let's get that straight. And,
It'll always be the Ibis.
and the Starbucks.
So she parks her car. Then she gets told not to walk off the property and
then gets booted.
And then she walks off anyway. There's a girl. And then what's not clear here is if they call her dad when the boot's there on the thing. And he says he wants to meet at Starbucks. Now, I'm not sure if he was already at Starbucks or not. And does that count like his car is at the parking lot of the place that he's actually at?
Right.
You know? But
he was setting up the alibi.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
But where did she walk off to? What? That's a little sketchy, the whole thing. She walked where? Like on Fernwood?
It just says off the property.
Interesting.
Okay.
She went to Subway.
This is what the cop reports. I made contact with her father, who did not want to respond to the parking lot, which was where it was happening, and demanded I respond to Starbucks because it was too hot outside. Then he walks into Starbucks, the cop, and the Starbucks management said that they don't want this guy in the store anymore because he's unruly.
Uh-oh.
Okay. He said he knew that the golf cart was left there, but that he was not leaving. He was not leaving Starbucks until Starbucks agreed to pay for the boot.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, I'll have a double mocha latte.
And pay for my boot.
Clearly unaware of how it works.
Give me 60
now, I don't
bucks.
get. So let me I hate the booter. I hate that this stuff happens, but this guy goes crazy. Later, he gets all crazy and he starts saying that there was somebody there who was a predator and who whistled at his daughter. So he's trying to build up a whole scene to distract from what he's really mad about, which
That's
is the
right,
boot.
because when his daughter was parking, I think probably the parking attendant
Whistled
was like, "Hey,
Don't park.
you can't park there."
Don't park there. And she's like, oh, no.
That's what they said. That's what the article said, didn't it?
Wow. Okay.
So it turns out the predator is actually the property manager at
Oh,
Coney
man.
Plaza. Yeah.
I can't.
And so
So did he get his money
this
back?
guy did not understand that Starbucks wouldn't be the person paying the boot. He would have to talk to the property manager out of anybody who would be able to resolve such a situation. Anyway.
Or you talk to the boot guy. Like, I've gotten out of the boot and not paying him. I must say, hey, boot guy, don't hate me. But thank you so much for letting me not pay that one time. I appreciate it.
Oh my God, do not say that.
Wow, Lenny.
Bullshit.
I did.
Screw that guy.
I got away with it.
Lenny.
Guy
I
is,
mean, just in case it happens to me again, thank you, boot guy.
guy is profiting off the misery of
I know.
others.
I'm
You
very
know,
careful now. I also park much better now since we have that Facebook bad parking thing. So, I don't illegal park and I park better now.
So yeah, this guy went crazy. I understand the feeling, man. When the guy puts the boot on you, you just go crazy. You're
I was like, he did it in my
allowed to
own
park
building
here.
where I live. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Sorry for the bad words. But oh my God.
Dude, I parked in, the 15-minute parking at the Key Executive Building. The
Yes,
one
I know
right out
exactly
there.
what you're talking about.
And I went to the Wells Fargo to get money out of the
Oh.
ATM, and he booted me.
You got
Yeah.
booted there. Shame on you, Rafa. That is such a rookie
I
move,
can't
Fuck
believe
man.
that
You
booter.
sh- you
That was
should've-
a long time ago. But what? How am I supposed to know that
To
I
go
can't
where?
park
To
there?
the Wells Fargo parking? Is that a
but
bank?
Yeah.
You should have said you were just in Tom's office because he's your architect.
I tried to do that, but he said I walked. It doesn't matter. He had already put the boot. Once he puts
Oh,
the boot, you're
man.
screwed.
Yeah, you're holding a
The
Wells
guy's
Fargo
the guy's a
receipt.
rent-seeking scumbag, dude. But
Yeah,
I
he
hate
is.
him. I hate him.
I know.
him.
He is.
His whole business is just to profit off the misery
One
of
time
other people.
before,
It is a shitty job.
I'll tell you how I think. One time before the scavenger hunt, leading up to the scavenger, one of the old Calusa Club scavenger hunts, that they'd
Right.
have. Lenny, did you ever do those?
I never did it.
Yeah. So, Rafa, listen to this. Where leading up to the scavenger hunt, I'm already trying to figure out whatever the big clues are going to be. So I'm teeing up a boat to get out to Mashta or to the ski hole or wherever, and I'm thinking, I know where Dave lives, and then I'm thinking, what about the booter? There's going to be a question about the booter. So get a picture with the booter. Rafa will give us like maybe 50 points for that or something like that.
Hilarious.
Or somebody else loses 50 points or something, right? So I happened to see the booter that day, and I was like, hey, how you doing? What's up? Hey, listen, we're doing a scavenger hunt today. Can I have your number?
Oh, hilarious. Well, Heather Henderson.
He wouldn't
just
give me his number, dude.
Heather
he wouldn't
Henderson
give me his
just
number.
Of course
posted.
not. He's
No.
paranoid.
Heather Henderson, lives in Nashville, who's an old Key Rat who came for the Key Rat reunion. She said she was at 7-Eleven. She parked at 7-Eleven and walked to Oasis and got booted for $65.
What? Just this week?
Just Yep, 4th of July.
It's fucking bullshit because these places
I'm
are right
sorry.
now. Like, how is the average person to know that you can't park literally in the same spot where the thing feeds off into the other spot? You
it's
know, it's the
bullshit.
same thing with the Wells Fargo thing. They both feed into each other. It's like the same place.
Dude, listen, all I got to say is that booter doesn't know how lucky he came to not getting his tires slashed. He didn't realize who he's booting these key rats.
if Mike Smith or like Nick Pullman got a hold of that would have been over. Anyway, sorry, Heather. Come, don't worry, we'll get him. We'll get the
Bull
booter.
crap. Hate all those property managers. That property manager probably is a predator.
Exactly.
What else we got?
All right, this one is a favorite story of mine because of the fake outrage that came. So, there was a letter sent to the editor by Marilyn Borroto.
Coño!
And the headline was coño and some other
man.
shit. And the editor published it with that headline. It said coño, which means pussy in Spanish.
Well, it means a lot of. It depends how you say it.
One of the comments
mean,
said it means vulva.
That's like saying like that fuck doesn't mean fucking, and if and shit doesn't mean shit. Of course they mean those things.
It is a vulgar word in how you say it, but that you know what? It's a reputable newspaper, kind of. You can't be putting coño on the front page. Now, if it was the tropical rag, you could coño all the way to all
this
over
is
the
what.
place.
So I saw that, but I just don't really believe that people were that offended. Like, really? Where people saw it and they were like, oh
No,
my
they're not,
God.
of course not, Rafa. They're not offended, but you're like, why would you put that? That's such a dumb word to put in a
paper.
Yeah.
I mean, Rafa's more offended when, an article says, yes, I went to the restaurant and they had a delicious arroz con pollo.
Arroz con pollo is fine.
Rice and beans. And
That's
fish.
Yeah, I think it was just...
Out of tone. Out of the...
Yeah.
It's not the right tone for the island.
No, that's not the islander. Now, tropical rag or here, we could say coño and you could say coño, it's different.
I mean, yeah, but I saw some of the islander didn't respond to anybody's criticism. So I wonder if they'll write something on Thursday or whatever. And I wonder if they notice that, and it's also like a little just like clickbaiting, like put that word there, and people are going to respond to this article, boom, boom, boom. But not really, because they didn't choose the headline. It came to them from somebody else.
Right.
I don't know. But when I saw people like, oh my God, what are you doing publishing this stuff?
Well,
it seemed a little much.
I saw the comments.
I know that, I thought it was, I'm no prude, but I was like...
I thought it was out of character, but I didn't think it was enough to... I would just be like, okay.
Well, for some people, you read the comments, it's great. Every couple of days, you got to go back and read the comments.
Great.
I think it's kind of died up already, but,
but it's good.
Somebody needs to share it to reawaken it, but it wasn't a good article in the first place. It was like...
It said nothing.
It said nothing.
It said nothing. It no information.
The picture wasn't the best, picture like right there. It's kind of jumping out at you. And and it's somebody, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't think it was, I thought it was funny. I sent it to you guys right away.
I was like, oh my gosh. And were we offended? No, Rafa. Of course not. It takes a lot to offend us. So no, we weren't offended, but
it does seem out of character, and I think it's like whatever, but I don't know. When I saw the people saying, I think somebody said outrageous.
Yeah.
Is it really outrageous? Like, come on.
Yeah, stay classy.
Come on. I could see that. Stay classy.
Yeah.
But
there was some good comments.
Well, we're talking about the Islanders, so it worked.
That's right. There's a lot of competition out there now these days. There's
Key News. And
Key News is great.
And the tropical rag.
Tropical rag is hot. People like that.
It's not quick and easy news. I love it.
And there's, of course, what's the biggest news source on the Key? Everyone, you can't forget.
Rat Radio.
Huh?
Rat Radio.
Oh, Lenny, come on.
Oh, Chat Chats.
Yeah, the Chat Chats. That's the biggest news source on the Key, for sure. 100%.
So speaking of Chat Chats, why don't you guys tell me about these iguanas in the Chat Chats?
Man.
What exactly happened here with the iguanas?
There's
I'm not on that chat. First of all, let's qualify, Lenny, for the viewers at home.
I can't even remember what chat this was on, but it was
so many chats you're on.
I think it was on the government chat, which is crazy. But there was a whole thing about the iguanas and how they're pooping in the pool and how unsanitary and how they're eating everyone's garden. And
there was an article today, by the way, that talks about. I read the article. It was like, if you have the green iguanas in your yard, you need to kill them. I mean, that's what the article was saying. So I think it kind of it went that way, didn't it?
I don't. Well, there was two parties to.
People were insulting each other or bullying each other. Or what was it?
There was a lot of bullying and a little bit baby insulting, but I think it was out of
But about what?
About the iguanas.
Okay.
No, but the bullying, how were they bullying?
Well, because most of the people were like, yeah, how do we get rid of these iguanas so they don't poop in my pool where my kids swim and like eat my all my landscaping that I paid $1 million for. And then there's the environmental person who's like, no, you can't kill the iguana. So it was banter with that, and it got a little hairy, it got a little bullyish. But then they all apologized, and everyone became friends again.
Actually,
and all is well on the island again.
I heard that they started an "I'm sorry" chat, so everyone jumped over to that, and they were able to continue the conversation there.
All is good in the world now. I don't think there's going to be any killing of iguanas soon. At least no public killing of iguanas.
So
maybe secretly.
The iguanas are non-native species,
right?
And they have no predators except for big snakes and maybe crocodiles,
right?
And so they are out of control. And I'm pretty sure
I agree with that.
Fish and Wildlife says that you should kill them.
It's like the lionfish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they eat rare plants and stuff like that.
And they kill your dogs when their dogs eat them.
Really?
Do they really?
Yeah, they're toxic.
Gross.
So when they freeze and they fall out of the trees,
the dogs
and
get them like
the dogs get them, and chew. Yeah.
I actually saw. It was funny today driving into the island. I saw an iguana crossing the road, and it was a stupid one, and so it kind of
sped up?
No, it was not in my lane, but the Tesla next to me comes by, and he just goes boom, boom.
Oh,
and for a second, I felt bad, but then I was like, you know what? We need to get rid of these things. So boom, boom, whatever.
Bump over it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. There's blue crabs everywhere. Have you noticed the crabs everywhere too?
Oh, they're back. That's nice.
Yeah.
I remember, the crabs when in the late '80s, early '90s,
they were
where
everywhere.
they would masses come across.
They would pop our tires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would come out of the Calusa Park
I love it.
like huge hordes of them.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. I guess
So now there's a new chat, by the way, that's called like Where the Wild Things Are or something like that. Keep us games.
No, we talked about that.
You did?
A couple weeks ago.
Sorry, I wasn't
that was
around.
started by someone who I thought it was a goof when he started it. Like all of a sudden, people put you in the chat, right? So I was like, okay, and I'm thinking, it surprised me that this person started the chat, and I'll tell him to his face, I'm sure. But when they started, like they were looking for some traction right out of the gate, so
because there's like alligators and like whales.
No,
and
before that, somebody put something up on the monarch butterfly or something that's over at the park and the cocoons that are hatching, and so they did that, and then right after a crocodile appears, and the turtles are coming. And the whales are washing up, and it was like one thing after another. So, but I did leave that chat quickly, right away.
I'm still on it,
yeah.
of course.
Good.
Yeah,
how many people are in that one?
I don't know.
Come on, just look at the
You want me
number.
to look right now? All right. Talk about the next thing while I look.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say that chat. If people, please don't create chats just for every little topic. You can have those same chats in other.
Hang on, Rafa. If you want to talk about that, go to the I'm sorry chat. Take that offline to the I'm sorry.
That's hilarious. There's 82 people.
Okay, so it's not.
It's little.
Yeah, it's little still.
82 people is little, but it's all the same people who just love to hear every little chatter.
I'm going to get off it tonight. Bye, guys.
Okay, moving on. I got something that I thought was interesting here. So, in this article, Key News had up about flooding and what the key resiliency and stuff like that, and how our flooding resiliency plans date back from like 2011, and they don't mention sea level rise or whatever. And so now they have to rethink these things because NOAA came out with a thing that says that in Virginia Key, the water's rising and it's going to cause a little bit of a problem. There was a tidbit that said they're going to put a pump station like the ones in Miami Beach near the school to pump out floodwaters. Have you guys seen how big those pump stations can be?
No. How big are they? They're like the size of your living room. They're not that big.
Yeah, exactly.
And where are they putting it? They're buying a lot on Key Biscayne putting it on there?
That is what I don't understand. Somebody reached out to me referring to the tropical rag. There's somebody who lived on like Palmwood or something who I don't know if they bought a house or they rented it, and they didn't understand how flooded that area still gets, even after the stormwater stuff.
Yeah, but
there.
Palmwood's like 3 feet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I told them, I'm like, I'm not sure what they can do because those pump stations that they have in Miami Beach, which is pretty much our only solution to this problem, I mean, those things are big. Where are you going to stash one of those, you know?
Well, they were talking when, they're looking at these parks, pocket parks or public spaces, public space, or the Land Acquisition Committee.
Right.
We talked about that 500 block on Harbor, and one of the things that because it's 2 adjoining lots that they were looking at that are a whole block, street on each side, and they were talking about putting a pump station there.
Because the pump station, you need to have it near the water.
And so over there on Harbor Drive, that's a great spot to put one.
Yes.
So when you talk about that, creating a park there, there's also an added value of being able to put a
and
pump
closer
station.
to the water is the key. That's the thing. You can't have it like in the middle of the island.
Well,
That's what I
mean,
hear.
we can. The water's only as close as the pipe underneath that goes to it. So in the middle of the island, they do need it over there by the school, by Palmwood, where it does flood. Maybe it would help.
Does that scare any of you guys, thinking that we need pump stations on the Key? We didn't before, and now we do.
Well, I mean, I guess. But look, Venice is still going.
Venice doesn't have our same situation.
Yeah, it's worse.
They're on bedrock. They can always,
it's a little scary for sure.
They don't have the same problem.
Oh, really?
But I mean, you could argue that it's always flooded. Back then, it took 3 days for it to drain.
Yeah, that's true.
Now it takes 3 hours.
Yeah,
It's true.
So it's.
I mean, we used to go ski behind cars.
Yeah, I remember those days before they put in the sewers.
Hydroslide, not ski.
But then they put in the sewers and it got good, and now it's back again being bad, Anyway, I don't know. We didn't say when this pump station project was gonna happen, but it says there's $3.5 million there to build a pump station near the school or something like that. I don't know where they would put it. Maybe on school property. I don't know.
Well, let's get the tropical rag on that and see what's up.
When I find out, I'll let you guys know. But
maybe somebody from Key News can actually write an article about it and find out.
I thought it was worrisome a little bit because I was like, damn, we're going to pump stations too. Next thing is lift up the roads. Like, I don't know.
Well, thank God you're on the second floor.
I thought about that tremendously when I was looking. I was like, no way I would get a ground floor place.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost cut a hole in your screen and then just launch your paddleboard from there.
Exactly.
Right. Like waterfront
10, 20 years. You'll be like 50 something. You'll be fine. You can do that.
The new ski dock right here. Okay, so that just reminded me of something that I didn't write down, but I was talking to. It just came up in casual conversation, and I'll mention it to you guys. We were here in the Garden District, and watching people walk by as they do. There's a lot of action here in the Garden District. A lot of walkers, a lot of things, a lot of dog walking,
a lot of pedestrian activity.
A lot of pedestrian activity. And she said, "Man, wouldn't it be cool because there isn't anywhere else, even on the Key, is like a coffee shop on this street." And then it got me thinking, how would you guys feel about mixed use in the Garden District if you were allowed to put things on the ground floor? Was that something you think would be bad, good?
That's interesting, Rafa, actually. That's kind of cool. I
like it. First thought, I like it just because it's a gathering place for people.
Yeah.
And so any neighborhood that can have natural and maybe artificial gathering places, I think that's a good thing.
So I'm thinking about my building. There's 2 units downstairs. One the manager has and one somebody else rents. I think he rents it. I don't know if he owns it. But I'm wondering, and then there's like a community room there too.
Right.
And I'm thinking, man, like, I wonder if you rented that out to a small business or some sort, like to make a tiny little thing there that served the walkers or whatever.
Right.
That would counter some of your maintenance fees because you suddenly are charging rent in your little building for a commercial space.
All right. I just had a really bad thought. Time out.
Me too. The beach club is looking for things.
What if you started What if like the bikers started coming down here?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's
Like
the
they
thing.
go to 7-Eleven, they're like the Beebs and the Bay Oasis and 7-Elevens. And the next thing you know,
Then it's like the faritos. Everyone coming
it's
from
all the bikers
farito.
out here.
Well, they don't go to any other place in the Key, you know. So I don't know if you would have to think, but you definitely would have traffic coming to your place because you have a coffee shop or whatever else type of place would want to be open here.
But
I don't know if the bikers, they don't go to
I
like,
know, I'm just thinking worst case
and
scenario.
they don't go to Artisan, you know. They only go to they went to Oasis and now they go to 7-Eleven.
You can't sell Gatorade. That's all.
Well, my sentiments here is that the beach club is actually they don't have the people backed out of the food place. Did you hear about that?
Yes.
Yes, just recently. So they're looking for someone to do the food at the beach club now.
Oh, the people backed out?
Yes, there's no one there. So they're looking. Well,
I think
don't
they
know if
have
I'm
like a
supposed to
food
say
truck
it.
there right now.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
So they're looking for someone to take over the food little area. I mean, that's a great little. You can make it a little coffee oasis.
I don't know if
shop.
it's a food truck or not, but I saw something. It gave me the sense that it was
Oh, really?
food truck on the side.
Anyway, so they're looking for something that's right there, and then down the street is. I mean, there's a whole shopping mall down the street. So I don't know. I don't think it's necessary.
I don't know. I would love it. Personally,
Maybe
I would
just
love
for your
it.
own building, like just.
I would
'cause, like,
love it in the building, like a little convenience store. I mean, I would love any of that stuff.
No,
you
I
know?
mean, if they took a place like 202 Sunrise, which was the property that was in play with
Right.
that group, you know, how long ago was that? That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What's happened since? Those people that are still living there. Right? But there, you know, if they were to take, to do something, even if they were to do a new building,
Yeah.
you know, in the new building, is that what you're thinking, Rafa? Something
If you did a new building and they allowed it, then
Yeah.
you could plan the bottom floor to
Right.
be a little more for that, and it would counteract the maintenance for the other people, which would be a plus. And you could keep it probably instead of doing a high end building, you could do a mid range building. You get what I
Right.
mean? Because you get some more money in from doing retail.
Right.
I don't know. Think about it.
You
Tell
could do a
Interesting
lot
idea.
here. You could do.
Tell your council
I mean,
members.
You could do a youth hostel
Yeah.
in this neighborhood.
Well, they do the
Coral Reef Apartments.
Yeah, Coral Reef
It's
Apartments.
like a youth hostel.
That would be a perfect place to
That'd
put
be
a
a
little coffee
place.
shop
Right.
because there's already the tourists there, and then us as
Exactly.
locals could go in and hang out there
Now
too.
we're talking.
Man,
That's cool.
man, maybe we should lobby the council for
We have
mixed
to
use
rezone
on
that, yeah.
mixed use on Sunrise and on the Garden District. Keep it in mind. A little thought for you. Okay, now let's get to the serious stuff, which isn't so serious because it's kind of hilarious. So if I don't know if you missed everything that happened with the council, and then council member Segurola called out the KBCF, and then there was this big rally for the KBCF. And I don't have time to explain all that right now, but if you want to read about it, it's in all the press.
I think
Key
everybody was there
press.
that night anyway. So
Yeah. But
I was in Europe and I knew about it.
so the latest thing, and I think it came out from one of those chats, one of the people there. I'm not sure who said it. That was like, this is a conflict of interest. That there are council members who have funds with the Key Biscayne Community Foundation, or they have donated in the past to the Key Biscayne Community Foundation, and so somebody
or they sit on advisory or steering committees for organizations that are funded by the community foundation.
There you go.
There was 2 of those.
So what somebody did was they made a complaint to the Miami-Dade Ethics Board against Brett Moss, Councilmember Moss, Councilmember Ed London, and former Mayor Frank Kaplan.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And so it's almost like a tit for tat. I don't know if they really think that the ethics board is going to come out and say anything to these guys for donating or sitting on these boards. I personally don't think it's going to be a conflict of
I
interest.
don't think so either.
Ed London came out and he said, this is not a conflict, and I
Of
don't
course
have
not.
anything to hide. You know what I mean?
And who do you think called these ethic committee?
Oh, it's some kook. I don't know.
Well, no. Somebody mentioned that maybe Ignacio Segurola had reached out to them, but he denied that.
Yeah, he denied it.
And,
Okay.
and what happened was that they reached out to him.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
But I don't think it was him. I doubt it was him.
Right.
It doesn't seem like something he would do. But there was people in those chats who definitely thought that was like the best course of action. They said that it was an ethics complaint.
yeah, somebody did
that
that.
was
I mean, you know who
ethical
did
conflict.
it. You know, you can
Someone's-
guess
they're
it's
stirring
like
the
one
pot.
of it's either him or her. It's like.
But why, we're trying to work together on this. It's a lot of work. Why would you bring down people who've been working so hard in this village and try to hurt the situation? I mean, I don't think it's something to bring up.
They think that they're going to crack some kind of secret Da Vinci code
it's a waste
out here.
of our time and money. It's ridiculous.
What I didn't realize was that, and I don't know if this is what it said in the article today. I don't know if the article was, legit. I mean, it was coño. But what
was it coño or coño?
No, it was like coño. Óyeme, coño. It was more like that. But it said that. So it mentioned that leading up to that special meeting that Mayor Davey called. That morning, Ignacio Segurola had asked for a list of 41 items that everyone that everyone had to be able to produce, which included transcripts and emails and whoever you talked to, and it was like that
was like retaliatory for it.
Right, but what I thought was at the end of the meeting that he kind of pulled back on all of that, but in the article today it said that he had pulled back on most of that, although there are still some things that are. That
are open or
that are
whatever.
open that they're asking for. I didn't realize that.
I didn't either.
I guess we will see what comes of it, but whoever filed this ethics complaint, if the thing with Myra didn't come out, and then this to me seems like no way it's going to come out.
It also seemed like that it was just sort of a due diligence thing for the ethics committee to do that. So chances are, it's obviously there's no problem.
Well, now they got to do the investigation, and I suppose one of the things was how much it's going to cost if all three people have to defend themselves.
Right.
And two of them are sitting on the council now, so they would get paid back by the taxpayer. And if nothing comes of it, it's going to be...
It's a waste
Lenny,
of time and money.
What are the chats saying about that today?
I haven't looked at the chats today, to tell you the truth. I was actually working since I've been gone so long, and I'm going to leave again. So I've been trying to make some money.
I guess we'll see, but I just don't see. Everybody knows, it's totally in the open what their participation is with the different things.
No one's hiding anything.
I predict it goes nowhere.
It's not going to go anywhere. It's a waste of time and money. These people work hard. They're working for free. Stop wasting time. That's just my opinion. Sorry.
I wonder, I don't know. We have, I guess now we got another 6 months of fodder while the investigation goes on, so that everybody can be ridiculous about it.
It's worse than Ultra.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that meeting shut everybody up and had everybody kind of happy.
So we can keep moving and be a community.
Except for a couple of people.
Yeah.
And it was those same couple of people. I'm not talking about anyone on the council.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the people in the chats and the owners of the chats and
stirring the pot.
My thing was like, dude, just fucking leave the chat, man. Let all the haters in there, all 10 of them,
fester
or 5
together.
of them, just stay in there with each other and work each other up and start other chats. And there's nothing worse than when your chat is nobody's there.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's not a chat
and then you start trolling the other ones who are like,
you can't get in.
Yeah. or no one's going to engage.
Or
the key is,
or
don't
it's
engage.
Full, like Rafa couldn't get into the 401 for so long.
I'm finally in there. Actually, talking about chats, I posted some stuff in the Let Go chat. Nobody bit. So
Rafa,
if anybody wants a trombone or a kid's set of drums,
Rafa,
set of drums.
You need to do it so they can just pick it up and bring it out of here.
Hey, look, I can be on your float next year.
Oh my God.
Okay. If anybody wants a real kid's set of drums, hit me up. I got it for you. They sell for $400 on Amazon.
Wow, Lenny, we can do that. Let's do this and get a couple new microphones or something.
There we go. We can start a band.
All right, so that's your ethics talk. And that's about all I have written down here, which is nice. I guess we move on to openings and closings.
I'd like to report What's the name of that place?
Pops.
Pops is still open.
Pops is burgers.
According to Tom Weber, because honestly, I haven't been there. So
Wait a second.
Let me tell you,
you said that place was closed.
I thought so too, because Tom reported to me that it was closed because he was so bummed that I think it was just for the day.
Let me tell you guys the saga of the Pops.
What is it?
So Pops is a place in the square next to Patagonia, in that little corner there where Fortune is, blah, blah, blah.
It's the place that's known as the doorstep to the United States.
Visa Fest.
So you know the place. It's been a video shop, a
Mexican restaurant,
Mexican, Italian, frozen yogurt frozen, ice cream.
Well,
gelato.
Now it is a little
Toy
diner with milkshakes and cheeseburgers and fries,
decorator shop,
and hot dogs. And so a lot of people seem to be fans of it. And I went, and apparently Tom went one day before a week before the 4th of July, and it was closed. And there was a sign that said, we're closed, we're done. And I was like, oh shit, this lasted 3-4 months. Too bad, like everything else here. Then there was the same 4th of July, or the day after this happened, the Islander comes out with an article that says Pops is going to open on 4th of July. It's like,
wait a second. Was it a new visa application? It's a new person. They're like, you know what? Yeah, we'll keep the wallpaper. That looks good.
Maybe it's a new owner.
Maybe the person who built it up sold it to somebody else who wanted to start their. Maybe, you know what? Maybe somebody figured out the formula for the
entry
visa
to the U.S.
for the green card. So it's you buy it, you get your green card because you invested over $500,000, and then once you've got your green card, you sell it to the next guy who needs it.
Pops. It's like in the 1960s. It was the Peter Pan movement. So now it's your way in. Your Pops. Are you a Pop? Like in 40 years, you're gonna be like, I'm a Pops. I was a Pops kid.
Well, Tom's very pleased that it's open again because he says it's delicious.
So cheeseburgers and fries and milkshakes over in the square.
Double bacon cheeseburger for Weber.
I never got to try it, so I'm curious to go try it. I hope it is good.
Hopefully it's open when you go back.
Yeah.
It might be in the transition again.
And so Pops has opened and closed and opened again.
Yay!
That's a big one.
Hey, it's kind of like the Kimballs. Like they moved, they came back, they moved, they came back,
That's
they
right.
moved, they came back. And they've actually moved now, so they are officially in Los Angeles.
But somebody said they're coming back in August, right?
Yeah, they'll be back in August.
We miss him though. So the empanadas place. Did you guys talk about the empanada place?
So there's a place that opened. I don't know if we ever mentioned it, but they only sell empanadas.
It's the family.
It's the family. It's the empanadas. It's empanada apostrophe S. It's great. I go there every time I go to La Scala. Whoever I'm going to La Scala with, I'm like, come over here. I want to show you something. And we go and take a selfie, and the people there behind the counter are like, oh, there are those people pointing to the apostrophe again.
But you know what? The empanada family has really good empanadas. So it's pretty good.
It is a funny business. I wish them well, because why not have an empanada place? But that's all they sell.
It's actually really good. Honestly.
Yeah, I tried some. They were really good.
Yeah. And it has a name, so they brand, if it's chicken, it says chicken on the top, or beef, so you don't have to break into it. And it's really tasty.
And they sell you boxes of empanadas just for your catering or for your snacks or for whatever you want.
I wish them luck. Carlos and Maria Empanada, I wish you guys the best.
Oh, man.
All
I love
right.
it.
Next up, the calendar. And man, I don't see anything happening on this
I even
island.
asked people have been calling me about the yacht club since I was past SIBO. They're like, hey, what's happening at the yacht club this weekend? I'm like, I don't know.
Pouring concrete.
So I asked them, and they're like, nothing's happening until August or something. So sorry, guys, no yacht club, nothing.
We have something for the calendar. Fill a bag. We have. We're so lucky. I don't know if I mentioned on the show yet, but I definitely will tonight. Either way, if you heard it, we have interns at Fill a Bag.
That's so cool.
You may have seen it on social media. Isa Pena, Key Biscayne standout, amazing person, amazing family.
Soon to be Ivy Leaguer.
She's on her way to Harvard. And as if that's not tough enough, she's also going to Berklee College of Music.
Yeah.
So she's doing a degree at each of those two schools.
That's insane.
Incredible. She's a singer as well. She contacted us, and she shared that for rising freshmen at Harvard, they have this project called God, I should know the name of it. Nancy's going to kill me. Sorry, babe. Serving your community or something like that.
Right.
And it's for rising freshmen at Harvard to apply to do this project, how they can do service in their community their first year before coming to Harvard, and then share it with the community. And, even take over the Harvard Instagram for a day, the story
cool.
for a day, and really cool stuff. So he called us and said, hey, maybe we can do something with Filleabag. So we came up with this great idea, all of us together, for her to go to local summer camps. There's like 35 kid camps here on the Key in the summer.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And offer them the opportunity to have an impactful environmental experience. And Isa and what turned out to be her team, she has a team of like three high school Key Biscayners as well, and they're like the counselors. And so they go to the camp and they put on a cleanup for the camp. They do an educational piece up front. They do the cleanup. They do a wrap up. And so
great.
your camp can include cleanup programming through the Fab Campers. We call it Fab Camper.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's really great.
Yeah, they did the first one. So anyway, for your calendar, if you have a camp, your kids go to a camp. Give us a shout at Filleabag on Instagram. If you know Isa's number, give her a call. If not, you can reach me too, and we'll put you in touch. There's the calendar's filling up quick. Her team is awesome, and we're just really proud to have them. I mean, we feel so lucky that this kind of came to us.
So Nancy Babe says it's service starts with summer.
Service starts with summer. Thanks.
And hashtag Harvard serves. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Thank you.
I saved you, Manny. You're good now. He's like,
so that takes up our calendar, I guess, right? That's something.
Sure. That's everything for the whole, I don't know. There's nothing. The Key is a little dead right now.
it's okay. You go to the beach. There's like,
Well, we know that the next 2 weeks will be chock full of news because we're on our summer schedule every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it seems like, when we come here every week, they'll be like, well, what's there to talk about?
Right.
Nothing. Or Ultra. Ultra's over. What do we talk about now? So, but there's been a lot of stuff happening for the summer.
There has been. There has been for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for not listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you guys for coming.
Aw.
Nice
I miss
little
you
show.
guys.
And we will be back in 2 weeks. Remember to subscribe on, you can go on to iTunes on your phone there in the podcast app, type No One's Listening Show, and you'll find us. You can subscribe, never miss an episode. And you don't have to hear it live. You can do it on your own time, in your car, whenever you want. Hear us talk about the Key. Check out ratradio.net if you want further instructions. On Facebook there too, Rat Radio, and on all your podcast thingies. Check us out. And
You're going to play the music?
oh yeah, we got to play the little outro. I always forget that we have an outro now, which is nice. Okay, so we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Subscribe and stuff. Thank you for listening. Outro, out, jingle out.
It's only been 4 months since we had the outro.
Yeah. No one's listening. Show.